God morning, God morning, God morning, 11. I'm so happy you're here. I am so happy you are here. It is a Monday morning as I speak this, and whenever you're watching it, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching it, and wherever you are watching it, all over the globe, thank you. Thank you for being here. We are reading the entire Bible, including the Apocrypha and parts of the Pseudipigrapha. I'm Reverend Valerie Love, your hostess with the mostest, and this channel is all about magic, money, and metaphysics. I've been here on YouTube for almost 17 years, talking about spirituality, occult wisdom, Christian witchcraft, deconstruction from basically free your mind. That's basically what I talk about. So if you like that, smash up the likes, subscribe. Let's get into it. Today, we are at the Book of Enoch, chapter 27. We're going through the entire Book of Enoch. Oh, y'all love the Book of Enoch, as do I. The imagery beyond anything you can imagine. I mean, the imagery in the Book of Enoch is beyond Lord of the Rings. Let's go. Screen share. How you living? How you living? How you living? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come in the room. I don't know why a gospel song just hit me, but anyway, here we go. Enoch, the first book of Enoch, chapter 27. And I commanded that there should be taken from light and darkness. And I said, be thick. And it became thus. And I spread it out with the light, and it became water. And I spread it out over the darkness below the light. And then I made firm the waters. That is to say, the bottomless. And I made foundation of light around the water and created 7 circles from inside and imaged the water like crystal, wet and dry. That is to say, like glass. And the circumcision of the waters and the other elements, and I showed each one of them its road. And the 7 stars, each one of them in its heaven, that they go thus, and I saw that it was good. And I separated between light and between darkness, that is to say, in the midst of the water, hither and thither. And I said to the light that it should be the day, and to the darkness that it should be the night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And then I made firm the heavenly circle, and made that the lower water, which is under heaven, collect itself together into one whole, and that the chaos become dry. And it became so. Out of the waves, I created rock, hard and big. And from the rock, I piled up the dry, and the dry I called earth. In the midst of the earth, I called abyss. That is to say, the bottomless. I collected the sea in one place and bound it together with a yoke. I said to the sea, behold, I give you your eternal limits, and you shall not break loose from your component parts. Thus I made fast the firmament. This day I called me the first created, Sunday. And for all the heavenly troops I imaged the image and essence of fire. And my eye looked at the very hard, firm rock. And from the gleam of my eye, the lightning received its wonderful nature, which is both fire in water and water in fire, and one does not put out the other, nor does the one dry up the other. Therefore, the lightning is brighter than the sun, softer than water, and firmer than hard rock. And from the rock I cut off a great fire, and from the fire I created the orders of the incorporeal 10 troops of angels, and their weapons are fiery, and their raiment a burning flame. And I commanded that each one should stand in his order. And one from out the order of angels, having turned away with the order that was under him, conceived an impossible thought to place his throne higher than the clouds above the earth, that he might become equal in rank to my power. And I threw him out from the height with his angels, and he was flying in the air continuously above the bottomless. On the third day, I commanded the earth to make grow great and fruitful trees, and hills, and seed to sow. And I planted paradise and enclosed it, and placed as armed guardians flaming angels, and thus I created renewal. Then came evening and came morning, the fourth day. Wednesday. On the fourth day, I commanded that there should be great lights on the heavenly circles. On the first uppermost circle, I placed the stars Chrono, and on the second, Aphrodite, and on the third, Aris, on the fifth, Zoes, on the sixth, Hermes, on the seventh, Lesser the moon, and adorned it with the lesser stars. And on the lower, I placed the sun for the illumination of day, and the moon and stars for the illumination of night. The sun, that it should go according to each constellation, 12, and I appointed the succession of the months and their names and lives, their thunderings and their hour markings, how they should succeed. Then evening came and morning came, the fifth day, Thursday. On the fifth day, I commanded the sea that it should bring forth fishes and feathered birds of many varieties, and all animals creeping over the earth, going forth over the earth on four legs, and soaring in the air, male sex and female, and every soul breathing the spirit of life. And there came evening, and there came morning, the sixth day. Friday. On the sixth day, I commanded my wisdom to create man from seven consistencies. 1, his flesh from the earth. 2, his blood from the dew. 3, his eyes from the sun. 4, his bones from stone. 5, his intelligence from the swiftness of the angels and from cloud. 6, his veins and his hair from the grass of the earth. 7, his soul from my breath and from the wind. And I gave him 7 natures: to the flesh hearing, the eyes for sight, to the soul smell, the veins for touch, the blood for taste, the bones for endurance, to the intelligence, sweetness, enjoyment. I conceived a cunning saying to say, I created man from invisible, spiritual, and from visible, physical nature. Of both are his death and life and image. He knows speech like some created thing, small in greatness, and again, great in smallness. And I placed him on earth. A second angel, honorable, great, and glorious, and I appointed him as ruler to rule on earth and to have my wisdom. And there was none like him of earth, of all my existing creatures. And I appointed him a name from the 4 component parts, from east, from west, from south, from north, and I appointed for him 4 special stars. And I called his name Adam, and showed him the 2 ways, the light and the darkness. And I told him, this is good and that bad, that I should learn whether he has love towards me or hatred, that it be clear which in his race love me. For I have seen his nature, but he has not seen his own nature. Therefore, through not seeing, he will sin worse, And I said, after sin, what is there but death? And I put sleep into him, and he fell asleep. And I took from him a rib and created him a wife, that death should come to him by his wife. And I took his last word and called her name Mother, that is to say, Eva, Eve. Adam has life on earth, and I created a garden in Eden in the east, that he should observe the testament and keep the command. I made the heavens open to him, that he should see the angels singing the song of victory and the gloomless light. And he was continuously in paradise, and the devil understood that I wanted to create another world because Adam was Lord on earth to rule and control it. The devil is the evil spirit of the lower places. As a fugitive, he made Sultana from the heavens, as his name was Satanael, Satan. Thus he became different from the angels, but his nature did not change. His intelligence, as far as his understanding of righteous and sinful things. And he understood his condemnation and the sin which he had sinned before. Therefore, he conceived through thought against Adam. In such form, he entered and seduced Eve, but did not touch Adam. But I cursed ignorance. But what had I blessed previously? Those I did not curse. I cursed not man, nor the earth, nor other creatures, but man's evil fruit and his works. I said to him, Earth you are, and into the earth whence I took you, you shall go. And I will not ruin you, but send you whence I took you. Then I again receive you at my second presence. And I blessed all my creatures, visible, physical, and invisible, spiritual. And Adam was 5.5 hours in paradise. And I blessed the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, on which he rested from all his works. And I appointed the eighth day also, that the eighth day should be the first created after my work, and that the first seven revolve in the form of the 7,000, and that at the beginning of the 8,000 there should be a time of not counting, endless, with neither years, nor months, nor weeks, nor days, nor hours. And now, Enoch, all that I have told you, all that you have understood, all that you have seen of heavenly things, all that you have seen on earth, and all that I have written in books by my great wisdom, all these things I have devised and created from the uppermost foundation to the lower and to the end, and there is no counselor nor inheritor to my creations. I am self-eternal, not made with hands, and without change. My thought is my counselor, my wisdom and my word are made, and my eyes observe all things, how they stand here and tremble with terror. If I turn away my face, then all things will be destroyed. And apply your mind, Enoch, and know him who is speaking to you, and take thence the books which you yourself have written. And I give you Samuel and Raguel, who led you up, and the books, and go down to earth, and tell your sons all that I have told you, and all that you have seen from the lower heaven up to my throne, and all the troops. For I created all forces, and there is none that resists me, or that does not subject himself to me. For all subject themselves to my monarchy, and labor for my sole rule. Give them the books of the handwriting, and they will read them, and will know me for the creator of all things, and will understand how there is no other God but me. And let them distribute the books of your handwriting, children to children, generation to generation, nations to nations. And I will give you, Enoch, my intercessor, the arc strategy, Michael, for the handwritings of your fathers, Adam, Seth, Enos, Canaan, Mahalaleel, and Jared, your father. They have rejected my commandments and my yoke. Worthless seed has come up, not fearing God, and they would not bow down to me, but have begun to bow down to vain gods and denied my unity, and have laden the whole earth with untruths, offenses, abominable lecheries, namely one with another, and all manner of other unclean wickedness, which are disgusting to relate. And therefore I will bring down a deluge upon the earth and will destroy all men, and the whole earth will crumble together into great darkness. Behold, from their seed shall arise another generation, much afterwards, but of them many will be very insatiate. He who raises that generation shall reveal to them the books of your handwriting, of your fathers, to them, to whom he must point out the guardianship of the world, to the faithful men and workers of my pleasure, who do not acknowledge my name in vain. And they shall tell another generation. And those others, having read, shall be glorified thereafter more than the first. Now, Enoch, I give you the term of 30 days to spend in your house. And tell your sons and all your household that all may hear from my face what is told them by you, that they may read and understand how there is no other God but me, and that they may always keep my commandments and begin to read and take in the books of your handwriting. And after 30 days, I shall send my angel for you, and he will take you from earth and from your sons to me. And the Lord called upon one of the older angels, terrible and menacing, and placed him by me, in appearance white as snow, and his hands like ice, having the appearance of great frost. And he froze my face, because I could not endure the terror of the Lord, just as it is not possible to endure a stove's fire, and the sun's heat, and the frost of the air. And the Lord said to me, Enoch, if your face be not frozen here, no man will be able to behold your face. And the Lord said to those men who first led me up, let Enoch go down onto earth with you, and away him till the determined day. And they placed me by night on my bed. And Methuselah, expecting my coming, keeping watch by day and by night at my bed, was filled with awe when he heard my coming. And I told him, let all my household gather together, that I tell them everything. Enoch is about to be abducted. Enoch is about to be abducted. Did you hear that the being he's talking to, he saw these great and wondrous things. And the languaging of this is very much martial. It's martial languaging. Troops and guards. Why did the creator, who's talking to Enoch, why did he create a garden and have to put a whole guard around the Garden of Eden? Why did he have to do that? Why did he have to station guards? You don't station guards unless you want to keep something in or secure or keep something out. Now, according to how we receive the story, there was nothing else on the planet when God made Adam and Eve. We know that the whole Adam and Eve story is just a story, nothing more. It has nothing to do with, well, let me not say it has nothing to do with reality. It does have something to do with reality with regard to the Anunnaki. It's a retelling of old Anunnaki stories. And in the old Anunnaki stories, when Enlil and Ninhursag were created, the gods, which they are not gods, they're beings, when they created the Gan Eden, or as we know it as the Garden of Eden, and they had breeding pairs in there that they did not want to get out. They had them they had them enclosed, breeding, and they had guards stationed. This all makes very much sense to me. It actually clicks together because I always wondered, why did God need to put a flaming sword of a cherubim outside the garden to block Adam and Eve's way to the tree of life? Why did God, the whole God of the whole universe, why did it have to do that? Couldn't it just, it needs an angel to mechanically do something. It can't simply, there's a million ways a real God would do that, the infinite source, and the tree disappears. The tree lifts up out of your reach. There's a force field, and Adam and Eve can't go in. Adam and Eve don't have the thought to go in. It's a million ways we could do this. Why is this garden guarded? Why do we hear this God speak of troops? What troops? Why do you need troops? You made humans. Why do you need troops? And this God is also saying, I'm going to abduct you. You have 30 days to go back and tell your family that you're going to come up here with me. Now, let's give a little bit of background from the Anunnaki story. Let's give a little bit of background because it would be very helpful to have a little bit of background now from old Anunnaki stories. In the old Anunnaki stories, how did the Anunnaki get here in the first place? How did it all happen? Where did it start? How did they even get here? Well, here's a story. Now, we cannot say for sure how they got here. On their planet, now I don't know if their planet was really named Nibiru. That's what, I have his book right here. That's what it was named. Hold on. I have the 12th planet right here. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. The 12th planet. Do I have you here, 12th planet? Zachariah Sitchin. I thought I had the 12th planet right here next to me. It's over in my library. Okay. The 12th planet by Zachariah Sitchin. Now, I don't agree with everything that he talks about. I certainly do not. And I think some of it is just absolutely great speculation. It is great speculation based on his research. So I will grant him speculation because scientists are speculating, yet they call it science. They told us evolution is a speculation. Evolution is a theory. It's a great speculation. It was made up. Yet because it is preached over and over and over again, people think that it's hardened into fact. It does not have facts to substantiate it. Yet every person that you hear on a podcast that has been trained in the Western world just talks about evolution like it's in our evolution as we evolved, we have the reptilian. They say evolution like a magic wand. It just takes care of everything. It's evolution. It's evolutionary. Our biology evolved to da 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 da, and they spout these things as facts, and evolution is far from fact. It's not a fact. So it's very surprising that the people who espouse this speculation are very upset when these other people, oh, that's speculation. Well, you have speculation and it's unexamined. So I don't have a problem with speculation because everybody's speculating because no one was there. We don't know what happened. We're putting together the puzzle pieces the best that we can. And we look at the evidence over thousands of years that has been collected and presented for us. And when we look at the evidence, we come up with our best guesstimate. Now, historians say what is probable versus what is possible versus what could have happened. They make what is most likely to have happened based on all the evidence that we have. So let me tell you, according to one story, this is just one story. This does not have to be the only story, and it does not have to be exactly how it happened. It's just a story. According to some of these ancient texts, Alalu was the first person to come here of the Anunnaki from another place. Why did he come here? He came here because there was a fight. They had fights already on their planet. They brought that here. They were already fighting where they were. What were they fighting over? Rulership and kingship. They were fighting over control. Makes a lot of sense when you think about that, pass that on to us. We're still doing it now because we've got their DNA. We're star people and we're earth people and we're divine people. We are the ultimate mashup. We're the ultimate integrated being, humans, Homo sapiens sapiens. Alalu lost. He tried to usurp the throne. He lost. Why did he try to usurp the throne? Because he was born of a royal father, but he didn't have a royal mother. And on the Anunnaki world, they were trying to work out the best way for succession. And sometimes the first wife, it was supposed to be the firstborn of the king, right? And sometimes the king had a first wife, the queen, who was also royal, and he had a concubine, and sometimes, or a consort, and sometimes the concubine had a child before the first wife, which is what happened with Enki and Enlil. Enki is the elder, yet he is not born of the royal wife. Enlil was born younger, he's of the royal wife. It's Jacob and Esau all over again. It's Cain and Abel all over again. Enki and Enlil is Cain and Abel reimagined, and Jacob and Esau reimagined. The whole brother thing. And all the brother movies you've seen, that's Enki and Enlil reimagined. The original story is Enki and Enlil. Well, Alalu, and so they had a discrepancy about who is supposed to be first in line for succession if the firstborn is of the consort and not the concubine, let's call her, because the consort more does also refer to a wife. If the concubine has the baby before a son, before the first wife. And the first wife, like I said, is the royal wife, the official wife, the number one head honcho wife. And then there's the concubines. And so they decided that they came up with a law that talked about how succession would flow. And a woman made it up, actually, and how the succession would flow. And they had wars. It was like the North against the South and all this kind of stuff. And then finally they married one royal person from this part of the planet and one royal person from this part of the planet to bring the whole planet together. They have rejoicing. Yay. Like I'm telling you, this is one story. We don't know exactly that it happened exactly this way. We're doing the best we can to piece together these stories. Well, Alalu was not happy because the one who became the king was not him, and he wanted to be king. So, of course, he put forth a challenge. There was a rebellion. They had a fight. He lost the fight. They told him, we're going to deal with you. He grabs a spaceship. The spaceship that he grabbed had 7 nuclear warheads on it. It was pimped out with warheads. Now, you might say, why did they have warheads? Were the warheads for war? Possibly. And it's possible that they could have been nuking themselves so much back and forth with the fighting that that's how they messed up their planet. Who knows? If they messed up their planet, if they were even on a planet. There's many possibilities about where they could have come from. When Alalu got in his little, rocket ship and took the warheads, the warheads could have also been to blast planets or asteroids or comets, just blast things out of the way as they're going. It could have been for multiple purposes. We don't know why they had the nuclear warheads. They had 7 nuclear warheads. In this story, he has 7 nuclear warheads on his spaceship. I don't think spaceships are very strange. We have spaceships. None of this is strange to me. It's what we do. It's like our story all over again. None of this is strange to me at all. When you consider it, it's exactly the same as us. And you can see us in this story. It's a drama, the same drama we got on planet Earth. When he got here, he realized he came through the hammered bracelet. They say he blasted water to move the asteroid, part of the asteroid belt, out of the way to navigate through that. And he found Key, is what they call our planet Earth. And when he passed Mars, and when he got to Key, he found that it was life, that you could live here. It was suitable for their life, not completely suitable for them, because Ninhursag had to make herbs and special treatments to help them with their breathing and all of that here on Earth. Yet they could live here. Yet they didn't live as long on Earth as they lived on their planet. And the possible science to that is the possible science, I don't know. The possible science could be that Earth's gravity is stronger, and therefore you age more on Earth, which makes sense to me because you age slower in space. You age slower in space than you do on Earth. Like, aging is not a constant, and the movement of time is not a constant through the whole universe. In some places, time is different from here on this planet. So maybe on their planet, because they ruled for like 30,000 years, 20,000 years, according to the king tablets, the Mesopotamian tablets, where they have the successions of kings and their reigns. The reigns are very long. Like, this one ruled for 12,000 years, and this one ruled for 28,000 years, and this one, wow. So they lived for a very long time, which that makes sense to me because I think we are cracking the code on how we can live for a very long time. So that makes sense to me. That adds up. And when Alalu got here and started to explore, he found that there was abundant gold here. And supposedly gold is the medium that they require. They require gold. And there are different reasons why people say the Anunnaki was so crazy over gold. They needed gold, 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 gold. There's a lot of different reasons why they could have needed gold. Well, and you can hear these different reasons espoused all over YouTube. You can listen very much to, all over YouTube about why they needed gold. And so when Alalu found out that it was amazing here, he radios back. They have communication, far distance communication. Now, how they do this far distance communication, we have yet to crack the code on that. It's just advanced technology. We'll figure it out. We have long distance communication now with phones. And we have long distance communication now with satellites, that we can communicate with people that are off planet. We have that. So they already had it. It's some people say the Anunnaki is us in the future, coming back to tell ourselves what happened. That's what some people say. And I could see that possibility as well. I don't think we ought to toss things off the table when none of us really know what happened. I don't care how adamant the scientists are. They don't really know what happened. And we do not have answers to all of the strange anomalies that are on this planet and have to do with this planet and have to do with our entire solar system. So, in the absence of knowing exactly what happened, all of these options need to be on the table, even the very bizarre ones, because then we can explore them and start to knock out what is not possible, right? In the absence of knowing, we've got to consider all of the options. We don't know. And most scientists will not tell you we don't know, because scientists like to be smart and they like to think that they know everything. Now, not all scientists, some. Enough. When Alalu got here, he radios back and lets them know that, oh, wow, there's gold on the planet. And they're like, oh, wow, okay, that's amazing. Let's get, and he starts to bargain. Hey, 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 I want to be the ruler of this here place. And so if I'm the ruler of this here place, you can get the gold and I can give you all the goods. Otherwise, make me See, he's still power hungry. Think about our politicians. And they say, okay, we're going to make a deal with you. Just tell us, and he directs them to come, and they start coming. Anu comes, Inky, Enlil, the gang. They come to survey, check out the whole thing. Alalu still wants power. He wants to rule. It comes down to a fight. Alalu and Anu have a fight. Anu is the big chief person. Anu is the voice that you hear in the Book of Enoch telling you that I'm the one who rules. And whenever you hear the word command, you want to really think of the Anunnaki, because Enlil was literally called Lord of the Command. So whenever you hear command, think Anunnaki, because that's what they used. And Anu was head chief sky father. So Enoch is describing all these wonders that he saw in space and that he saw on their spaceships. And he's describing it like he doesn't have the technical words for the things. So he's describing it like fire and ice. And I mean, how about Enoch? You got to go back down there and go with this being right here. I'm sending one of these beings with you right here, and the being comes and like freezes his face. Oh my God, they froze my face. Like I can't move. I love that part of the Book of Enoch when the being just comes and freezes his face. Oh my goodness. Enoch was going through it. Enoch was going all over the universe's spaceships. He was looking around. Fire and ice and lightning and all storms and sun and oh man, they had Enoch all over the place, right? And they said, okay, go back down now, Enoch, down to the earth, because Anu stayed up. That's where they get all the heaven imagery from. Anu, the chief sky god, Anu, A-N-U, and his wife, An, A-N, they stayed up in the spaceport, I guess you could say. And they had what would you call it? A way to get up to the spaceport. It was the spaceport was on Earth, take you up to you could call it a satellite, you could call it a space station. And they were up there, and that was where Anu stayed. And that's where you get all this imagery of God in heaven, this old wonderful person. He's a father, because Anu was the father of the Anunnaki. So that's where all that stuff comes from. It comes from Anu. Well, it wasn't over. It wasn't settled. Alalu and Anu had a fight because Alalu challenged Anu. He challenged Anu, and they get into a fight. Anu won, and then Alalu bit off Anu's private parts. Pretty gross. He bit him in the groin and made it possible for him not to have any more children. But he had already had children. But still, that's a pretty unfair fight. And it was just horrible. And so, of course, they sentenced him to death because, oh my goodness, how could you have done something like this? And sure enough, they said, we're going to take you and you are going to go to Mars. Now, they had another name for Mars. They called Mars Lamu. I believe that's how you pronounce it. They had different names for the planets than we have. And they took him. Why has no one made a movie from the Book of Enoch? Isn't that the truth, Reverend Evelyn? I would love to see that movie. I would love to see that movie. So then they sentenced Anu, Alalu. Alalu is, you're going to be banished. You're going to be banished. Guess where they banish him to? Lamu. They banish him to Mars. And when they take his ship, he and his second chief officer, the second officer, first officer, right? It's like Star Trek. Like you have Kirk, and then you have, first officer, so and so, right? Sometime it was Lamar Burton. Well, anyway, his first officer knew where. Remember, keep in mind these 7 nuclear warheads, because they're going to come up in the Bible. These 7 nuclear warheads were on Alalu's ship. So when they banished Alalu for his horrendous deeds, and he has to go now to Mars, which is also called Lamu. They take the 7 warheads, and Anu tells him, hide them. Because Anu knows his children. He knows they're going to get those warheads out and start warring like they were on the planet they came from or wherever they came from. So they hid the nuclear armaments deep somewhere in some cave somewhere deep on planet Earth. And supposedly only like a couple of people knew where they were. Then they deal with Alalu. They take Alalu to the moon. Now, it is quite possible that that face on the moon is Alalu. I say I would not take that off the table since there is a face on, I mean, not on the moon, on Mars. Let me correct that. Not the moon, Mars. There is a face on Mars, and we don't know where it came from. And the face is in the vicinity of structures that were not natural structures, built structures. There was a civilization on Mars. So, who is the face on Mars? We don't know. And why are these structures on Mars? We don't know. And why is Mars now completely uninhabitable unless we can break through to the water? Because there is water on Mars. It probably was a planet like ours before the destruction. And why have they found Trinitite on Mars, which indicates nuclear weaponry? Star Wars. This makes a lot of sense to me because it fits puzzle pieces together. It fits a lot of puzzle pieces together as to why Mars is in the condition it's in, as to why there's a face on Mars, why there are buildings on Mars. Why are there buildings on Mars? Let's look at it. Have you ever seen the face on Mars? Let's look at it. I've been staring at this face. Oh, Dia said, I watch a TV series on the Hindu scriptures, and there was an episode where the character was frozen in place like that on Mount Kailash, but he was still alive and could see everything going on. That's it. That's it. They had some freezing technology, some kind of freezing technology, and it seemed like the freezing technology was a protection so that people couldn't look at them. Because if people looked at it sounds like radiation. Does it sound like radiation to you? It sounds like radiation to me. That Enoch got protection from radiation. Face on Mars. Boom, here, let's go look at the face on Mars. What's going on there? What is happening? And they keep trying, the scientists keep saying, oh, it's not a face. Oh, it was debunked. Oh, that was just a natural structure. Oh, that's just a hill. That's a face. Everyone can see it's a face. And NASA tried to debunk it. No such thing as a face. No, let's look closer. See, it's nothing. It's nothing. And when you have gaslighting like that, you always wonder why. Why gaslight? Why not just say, yeah, we found a face on Mars and we don't know what it is? Because the amateur astrologers, they're seeing all these different things as well. Plenty of pictures of the face on Mars, and the face on Mars is in proximity to buildings that look like structures. Okay, face on Mars, and boom, pyramids. It already came up. These are created structures. What? So why are we letting people tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing? Yeah. Yes. There's a whole face on Mars. Yes. Pardon me. Why are we letting people tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing? We're looking at it. Oh, that's not a face. Well, what is it? Pardon me. I'm going to see if I can cut this part out of the video. I need to drink some water. So we've got to press harder for answers. It's a giant face. It's a very big, and it's an unmistakable face. Pardon me. It's a whole face. It's a whole face. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, 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 yes. And it's visible and it's in pictures. And so they came out because it was creating such a hullabaloo when it first was discovered. Oh, what? A face on Mars. What is this? We have to find out what it is. Why is it so big? Blah, 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 blah. Well, in the Anunnaki stories, it tells you that Alalu was buried on Mars. It's on Lamu. The name, let me make sure I'm saying this name right. Let me pull this up. Pardon me. Anunnaki name for Mars, for the planet Mars. Planet Mars was associated with Nergal. I'm not talking about that. What did Sumerians call the planets in the solar system? I'm not talking about that. The Ijiji. Alalu is the face on Mars. That's what people say. What is the name of Mars? I think it was called, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about the Sumerians. We're talking about the Anunnaki. Very different. Very different. Space base on Mars. I believe it's called Lamu. I'll look it up for you. I'll look it up for you and let you know because they're about to um they're about to abduct Enoch. They told Enoch you're being abducted. You have 30 days. Go on the planet, go down, get your affairs in order, and you're coming. And why did they want him? He's a scribe. He's going to write down things. They're going to give him a magic pen and tablets, and he's going to write things down. Okay. It looks similar to the faces on the Sphinx. The way that headpiece is shaped around the face. Interesting. Okay, what does my brother from another mother say? Billy Carson talks about that very subject about proof of prior life on Mars, building like structures and that facial artifact. That's exactly right. Billy Carson, my brother from another mother. Absolutely. Yeah, people will malign Billy Carson. People will malign Graham Hancock. People will malign Zachariah Sitchin. People will malign Paul Wallace, Michael Tellinger, Mauro Biglino. All these people can't be wrong. All of these people cannot be wrong. A whole lot of people are saying, now, not all of them say that they were aliens because Graham Hancock does not say that they were aliens. A lot of people are asking questions and have done a lot of investigative work on it. And this we know for sure it is not the mainstream narrative. So once they get rid of Alalu, and Alalu could well be the face on Mars, because that's where they, according to the stories, that's where they excised him, or he was banished, like Cain. He was banished. The warheads were still on the planet. When it was time to do the war because the kings were rebelling against the Anunnaki, what do you think? Someone said, oh, yeah, I know where those warheads are. Really? Where are they? Well, they're over in that cave over there because I took them over there when we got rid of Alalu. Bring them. And they gave Ninurta and Nergal permission to use the warheads, nuclear warheads, on the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. Had nothing to do with sex or them not being hospitable or them trying to rape angels or them being, it had nothing to do with any of that. That's a story made up later. They used the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, which was an actual fact. These cities were destroyed. They used that destruction and twisted it into a morality story. That was not the reason why it happened. And we can tell that it's a morality story if you read it. You can also tell what really happened because we read Genesis, we read the context, and the context says that five kings rebelled against their overlord. And they had a war in the valley, and two of the kings escaped the war as they were plundering. Yay! Two kings escaped the war. And the two kings that escaped the war were kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. They thought they got away, but no, the quote unquote angels, Anunnaki beings, came later. The Bible calls them angels. The Malak, Malakim, which means messenger, has nothing to do with being an angel. Malak came and gave a message. Hey, Abraham, we're about to dust this place. Get to moving. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're about to dust this whole place. Then the old Anunnaki stories also tell you that after they did that explosive maneuver of nuking these cities, that there was an evil wind. An evil wind came. What is that? That's what we know will happen if a nuclear disaster ever happens on this planet. We know that the radiation will kill everything in sight. Is an evil wind. They called it the evil wind. They said people were in their houses, the evil wind swept over, and they were gone with the wind. Does that sound familiar? And this came and they were gone with the wind. And then the sheep and the chick, they were gone with the wind. What they describe in the Anunnaki stories are radiation. Had nothing to do with God sending some kind of pestilence. It's people down here and Anunnaki beings acting up, nuking each other, and getting the results of it. That's what really happened, okay? All right. Face on Mars, it's Alalu. It is in the Lost Book of Enki, and the headpiece is a helmet. There we have it. There we have it. The US have finally planned a trip to the moon. I wonder what they will say this time. Good question, Carla. Because the last moon landings, don't get me started on the moon. The last moon landings did not go very well. They went horribly wrong. All of the people who went to the moon and they had that, remember, communication was cut off for several moments during that moon landing. Yet the medical feed was still audible, but all the other communication was cut off. And they said what they saw on Mars and what they experienced never went back. Never went, I mean, not on Mars, on the moon, never went back. The moon is not a natural structure. It's so bizarre, especially because I love the moon. I love the moon. The moon was built and then it was towed into place, into Earth's orbit. The moon is not a natural structure. The moon is a creation. It's like a satellite. But we have to go into that another day because it's just too much to even talk about in this conversation. It's too much to even talk about. Yeah. So when they go back to the moon, let's see what happens. Because all of those people who went to the moon, when they came back, their life went to shit. Something very bad happened to those people when they went to the moon. Something very bad happened. Why don't we just send robots? I don't know why we have to send people to be subjected to these things. We can make robots. Is that what they're going to do? Carla, do you know? Let's not send people into these things. We don't even know. We don't know enough to send people into these things. Let's send robots. Because on the other side of the moon, the remote viewers have already told us it's whole cities. And it's very strange that the moon only shows us one side. It goes around us like this. You never see what's here. And the remote viewers looked over here, it's buildings, it's whole civilization. What are they doing on the moon? And many civilizations have a story that the moon was not there. They built the moon in China. There is a story. Is it China or is it Japan? Japan. I was just listening to this the other day. I think it's in China. They had a story that there were these young people walking, these like two young men were walking in the mountains, and they met this very old sage, very old, like a very old and ancient and wise sage. And he had a bag with him of tools. And one of them was like a hammer and things like that. And he said that the kid, the young people were talking to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, I was one of the I'm super old because I was one of the people that helped build the moon." Why would that be a story? And now we're finding out the moon is not a natural structure. And why are we having ancient stories about the moon being created and tugged into place? It was created somewhere else. The moon is like doesn't it look like the Death Star? Just white, not black. Somebody tell me. Does it look like, oh, they're sending astronauts? Okay, let's pray for them. Let's get out our candles and start doing the ritual work around this, because this is going to be quite an interesting thing to watch. This is going to be quite an interesting thing to watch. I love you. I will see you tomorrow to find out what happens now in the story to Enoch as he's about to get abducted. He just came back to Earth after his tour of the universe. He just came back to Earth. Methuselah was waiting there for him. What's going to happen now before he's got 30 days before he gets abducted? Let's see. I love you. See you tomorrow. Mwah. And make sure for all of you that are registered for tonight's class, yay! A lot of y'all are registered for tonight's wealth class, esoteric wealth class on Amazon Influencer. Make sure you get into class before we start at 7 p.m. today. Get into class. All right. If it's well worth it, I promise you. If it's not well worth it, I will refund your money. It's well worth it. Love you. It's at ValerieLove.com. Love you. Mwah. Peace.